HooHooHooRobin.
Anthony Bourdain.
There he is.
Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Hey guys, how you doing?
How you doing?
How are you?
Young man?
I feel like we just saw you.
Yeah, right?
It's probably been a while. You're all tan.
Yeah, I just got back from vacation last night.
So we just
Where'd
got back
you
too.
Hamptons.
Ah.
I went totally over to the dark side.
You did?
Yeah.
You like it?
This was only the second normal vacation in like my life.
Yeah, without having to go somewhere very far away. And
Were you getting recognized out there?
I think the natural inclination would say, you're on permanent vacation, motherfucker. You
Yeah,
know,
true, true.
But, this is the first time that I've actually, done the sort of normal month barbecue in the backyard,
nice.
super dad thing. So like, I've kind of overcompensated. I become this sort of manic, frenetic, like psychotic, super dad.
Yeah, yeah.
I've gone full Ina.
You
It's
did.
like, everybody get together. We're having all of the greatest hits from my Jersey Shore, childhood vacations. We're having the goddamn steamers and the lobster too. And, you'll eat your fucking corn, and I'm getting the tomatoes at the farm stand, and you'll enjoy it. And, you get 9 different choice of 9 different pancakes, and I'm like, it's like way, 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 way over the top.
We had similar summers, sir. Didn't dig any holes for the kids.
Yeah.
I was digging holes every day on the beach.
Yeah, totally.
Every day you had to hit water with your damn hole.
Yeah, I feel normal family.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, let's be normal.
Then it got so crazy we were doing our own clamming.
yeah.
Did you do that?
I haven't done it. That's a really good idea.
It's awesome. When you feel a clam with your big toe, there's nothing better.
Well,
There's nothing better. I'm
I can
telling
think
you.
of a better thing to feel a clam with.
I'm like the most considerate driver too, like in the Hamptons, because I drive like a black foreign car. Like every other douchebag who goes to the Hamptons for the summer drives. So like I really go out of I'm hyper aware, having worked summer jobs and been sort of a local in a vacation community. I know what it's like to be a local and have all of these douchebags and
assholes, yeah.
beamers coming into your town. I'm like, I really try super hard to not be that guy.
Right.
It's almost impossible, though, sometimes, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Every stoplight, it's a
Yes.
minefield. Yeah.
They're all slow and local.
I don't give anybody any leeway these days on a red light. If they're in front of me at a red light, or an arrow especially, and I'm behind them, and they don't move the second it turns, I know that they're texting or something. They're not paying attention to the light. So I'm like, there it is, green, bam! I'm on in a second.
Do you ever catch them looking in the mirror like,
And then I just go.
See, for me, I don't do that because I'm hyper aware at all times that there's generally speaking someone in the car with an even shorter fuse and a lower threshold than me. And my wife is there.
Oh.
I 2 seconds. I kill you with my bare hands, you motherfucker. And she can, which makes it more troubling.
I met your wife.
Yeah.
It was in Vegas at the UFC. She was in the back area where all the fighters are actually, and Reed Harris introduced us. She was very lovely. She chatted very briefly.
And she could kick some ass.
Yeah.
As we all know.
That's handy.
Man.
Yeah, I guess she was there for the fight.
You don't have to deal with that when your wife says something. You got to step in and settle the dispute.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, it's exactly the opposite,
Good for
We just
you.
had Misha Tate in. She was. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, sure.
She's lovely.
Yeah, she.
I'm looking forward to
really good.
I'm looking forward to the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Coming
tonight,
up, right? It's it's Ronda Rousey, and Misha Tate.
Yeah. Tonight starts
It's gonna be
tonight.
great.
Yeah, we'll be watching that at my house.
If she stretches on the show,
Oh my gosh.
Then
She
that's
stretched
all-
Anthony
I mean,
Bourdain. We've
She's
lost our minds.
She's so fantastic. and
Holy
sexy.
crap. Yeah, but I got to say, I saw the whole season of Parts Unknown. I loved it. I know you're here to promote the Getaway, but I loved Parts Unknown.
Thanks.
You going to Libya?
15th, the 15th it starts again.
Again.
Yeah.
And the best episode, I think, was Quebec. You were reading some weird shit up there.
I like one of the joys of making the show is that, 1 week it's Libya, obviously a pretty serious show.
Right.
The next I'm basically just stuffing rich food into my face in Quebec.
You almost said food into my rich face.
But that was about as over the top, food centric, self indulgent show as I've ever made.
What does beaver taste? It was beaver, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
Surprisingly good. Doesn't sound like it could possibly be good, you know?
Because it's kind of rodent-y.
Well, you would think it'd be oily and rodent-y, but it's actually, you know, more in the... I'm not going to say it tastes like chicken.
Chicken. God damn it. Oh, man. It's always chicken. I guess it depends on how it's prepared, right? Like anything.
I'm sure there's a way to fuck it up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fuck up chicken easily, you know.
Pop it in the microwave. Just nuke some
this
beaver.
year, it's Israel, West Bank, Gaza show. Spain, really dark, really, I have no idea. I don't know if the network's even seen the Tokyo show, but we did a very deranged Tokyo show about the connection between sort of fetishism and repressed Japanese sexuality and porn.
Wow, good for you.
So there's a lot of hentai, tentacles, bondage, and sushi.
Wow. And sushi. Let's throw in the sushi.
And we did a Detroit show, Denmark. That's going to be a good one.
How bad is Detroit these days?
You know, I love look, that's a city I really, really love, and Detroiters really hate it when people from outside go in and say, wow, it's really awesome. It looks like ancient Rome. Look at these ruins, taking pictures.
Romans don't like that either.
but you can't look away. I mean, it really is, it looks like Chernobyl, and that's not a joke. It looks like, I've been to Chernobyl, it looks like Chernobyl. Overgrown, you know, all of these 70,000 unoccupied, vacant buildings. These just incredible structures just left to rot. Fields, waist-high grass and old gardens. The house isn't there anymore, but the gardens are now sort of growing wild. It's pretty amazing, but, it's a tragic but awesome place. I mean, if you don't like Detroit, how you feel about Detroit is one thing. Detroiters is another thing. That's That's a city with a sense of humor. I guess you have to have one, but it's just a place I've loved for a long time.
What do you do on that episode without giving it away?
We're hanging out with a guy, Charlie LaDuff, who wrote a former New York Times reporter and now a reporter for a television station in Detroit, and born and raised, and wrote a great book called Detroit: An American Autopsy, and so we basically hung out with old school Detroit politicians, cops, firemen. It's definitely not the new, hipster pizzeria that you must know about.
Right.
It's really
yeah.
What are they going to do to fix that place? I mean, there's no reason an American city should be in that bad a shape.
It's going to have to shrink. I mean, that's what would be nice to happen and what will probably happen are two different things. I mean, what would be nice to happen is all the people who've hung out there and fought it out and survived and held on to their homes as everybody around them, burned down or ran away or turned into crack houses. It would be great if the future of the future of Detroit included them. I don't know that it will. I think it'll definitely shrink. It's down from over 2 million people to a city of 700,000. It's 134 square miles. So police and fire coverage, just forget about it. I mean, they don't have computers, the National Crime Control computers in the police cars. They use their own cell phones sometimes to call in. They take the bus to murder scenes. It's not unheard of. It's pretty ludicrous.
Wow.
But what will happen? I think it'll probably be like the Lower East Side. The people living on the Lower East Side are not the people who lived there, who grew up there, and then who lived through all the bad times.
They have to readjust borders and districts, and that's the biggest pain in the ass because it all comes down to who's getting the money for being within city limits. You start pulling in the city limits, and now that no man's land outside, what happens to that? How does that get developed? It's a big problem.
Question, but what people overlook is it is a beautiful city. It's beautiful. I mean, even the buildings that aren't maintained, they're gorgeous, and it's like just about everything cool in America. It's not the world came from Detroit or Detroit especially. The automobile, the credit card, the music of Detroit. It's everything American. If we can't get it right there, we really should sort of fold up our tents.
How did it fall so far into the toilet? Was it just the auto industry collapsing?
The auto it shrunk. Basically, the auto certainly didn't help that the auto industry started to contract. I mean, so you went from a city of 2 million people down to 700,000. The decline really started in the 50s.
Oh, really?
So quite some time. And there was a lot of not just white flight, but black middle class flight. Decades of really spectacular political corruption. I mean, I don't know how many mayors in a row have been in the joint now, but it's quite a number of them. They've had more than their share of problems.
Did you see hope there, Anthony? Any hope at all? Or was it just downright depressing for you?
Yeah, because they are obstinate. They are obstinate, proud, funny, tough as hell. Anytime you have that in a city's character, there's going to be hope.
Right.
But I think whatever happens, a lot of people who deserve better are going to end up getting screwed. I think that's the way it always plays out.
Yeah.
I mean, even on a neighborhood by neighborhood, basis, you look at, the Meat District or the Lower East Side here, or Hell's Kitchen, you look at the neighborhood then and who lives there now.
Right.
First come the artists, then come the boutique hotels, and then, swarms of hipster douchebags.
It's different, though, in a small area like New York, because you can move into, say, the Lower East Side, and you're still only a quick ride to Chelsea or Midtown. Like Detroit, being spread out that far, even if you gentrify one area, then the rest of it is still a shithouse.
Yeah,
it's really hard. It seems like something that big to. Because hipsters do, in a weird way, save certain places. Colin Quinn pointed that out to me, too. They're ballsy. As much as it's fun to trash them, and I do, they move into fucking Bedford-Stuyvesant. They're these fucking white guys with bell-bottoms and fucking Beatle hairdos taking the subway to Bed-Stuy at 2 in the morning. There's a certain balls to that. Which
the man is right. And, they're already there, artists, urban farmers, a lot of people making use of there's a lot of dead space there that people are growing stuff and producing, local vegetables and produce for underserved areas. Look, there's no doubt about it. Hipsters will, to the extent that these places are going to get saved, it's going to be somebody with an ironic beard and pack of American spirits in the front pocket.
Nice.
What's this now?
The Getaway
that you're working on.
The Getaway is one for Esquire channel, and it's basically, I used to do a show called The Layover where I'd go and do 24, 48 hours in a city. My partners and I started thinking, well, this would be actually a much better concept if we got people who were actually had some connection to these places and knew what to do in those places. So we are basically grabbing people who've accomplished things in their lives, who are funny, who've got something going on, who have a particular connection with a place, and are good at, would be the right person to drop into these locations, and we send them off and let them loose. So we have Joel McHale we sent to Ireland to
oh wow, yeah,
and Aisha Tyler to Paris, and let's see who else is on the show, Aziz Ansari. So we sort of try to, look for interesting people who've done interesting things with interesting things to say, and send them someplace, really cool that they felt really strongly about, or had roots there themselves.
But they had not necessarily gone there in the past? Or done anything?
If it's a situation, in almost every case they've been there before, or it's a place they were just dying to go to. Right. It was a, sort of a personal obsession. There's always a connection to them.
Are you on the show too, or are you just producing it? Gotcha.
Producing.
Very cool.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Producer hat.
Just slap that credit on the screen and send me the check.
That's also doing another season of Mind of a Chef. That's for PBS. I'm producing that as well. This year it's Sean Brock and April Bloomfield. Last season it was David Chang. And speaking of Korean dudes named David, I saw your podcast with my friend David Choe.
Oh, Dave Choe, yeah.
Has he been on the show?
No, I'd love to have him
he
on.
Would be fun.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
What's he about? I don't even know him.
He's most known for his Facebook, his genius face. He's the highest paid artist in history because he did Facebook's wall for stock or whatever.
Okay.
And when it translated, when it cashed in, it was like over 200 million. Like
Jeez, that's a nice.
He basically was showing, I think, in like beauty parlors and shoe stores in the neighborhood. I mean, he was a successful graffiti artist, street artist, and very successful degenerate gambler. But I mean, I think they asked him if he'd do some artwork for Facebook, and he said, "Yeah, $50,000." And they said, "Oh, we're a little startup. We can't afford that kind of money. How about we pay you in stock?" And I think he cashed out. It's north of 200 million.
For painting
I would paint my face with Tommy Morrison's dick. That kind of money. Now,
he wasn't the guy that was featured in Koreatown?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do know him.
His podcast is fun.
Was he the guy that painted your avatar for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, great artist, great guy.
He's
motivational
a cool dude,
speaker.
man.
Yeah, he did Patrice's cover. He just did.
Oh my God! Of course I know this guy.
That's David.
And that was another great episode. Really great. Looking into Koreatown out there in L.A. and what they've been through. Holy crap! I had no idea.
Very bright, very funny, very tortured, brilliant guy.
Who's the girl he does the I'm sorry. Who's the girl he does it? Oh, she's an ex-porn girl, and I don't know if she's still active. She is fucking funny and sexy, man. She's great.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's good. And he doesn't need the money. He just loves doing it.
Yeah, you talk about gambler. That right there is like, I'll gamble and take a little stock instead of money, and that's like the hit of a lifetime.
Well, he's post-gambling rehab, but I mean, he's a guy. He'd bet like $50,000 on a coin toss.
Oh boy,
$50,000 on what color of Gatorade's coming out of the they're pouring on the coach at the end.
Wow.
Not a healthy gambler.
No.
But he probably has a great story, and when you got that much money, it's like you're lucky you got it out of your system before you blew through everything.
But I mean, I just saw him a few weeks ago. He hitchhiked across America with his buddy, shooting it with a little handy cam. He rides trains, like hobo style.
Right. Wow.
He vacations in places like Afghanistan and the Congo.
He
not
was in
your
Mexico.
Usual rich guy by a long shot.
And he just went to Mexico right after we did the podcast. He went down there for.
It's kind of crazy to do.
Show some. Yeah, man. It's like you got to enjoy your money and not change who you are, but you got to be careful too. There's a certain line you got to draw. Like, all right, there's a reality
would
here.
a kidnapper love to get their hands on him down there in Mexico? I bet.
Yeah, hopefully he's back now. But
yeah, he's back. He had a big exhibit down there. But great guy. He'd be great on the show.
Yeah, we talked about fucking perversion for quite a while. Yeah.
Have you been to Mexico in a while?
No, I've never been.
Not you, Jimmy.
Hoping to. This coming season, not the one that's going to be airing, but I mean, I start filming again in November.
Oh, wow.
Hoping to do a Mexico show.
Any concerns?
Cartel stuff. Where there are these bloggers that are apparently sort of amateur photojournalists who go to crime scenes. They basically are documenting all of the thousands and thousands and thousands. More, I think something like 60,000 people have been killed in just the last few years.
Wow.
They document the crime scenes. We might do that. Mix it up, sort of fun Mexico and then dark side of.
You're crazy to go down there, man. Even for all the places, that's nuts.
On.
The fuck the cartels is just, they're scary, man.
You gotta love that place, though. You gotta love it. I mean, my whole crew are so happy there. I mean, of all of the places that we shoot, it's one of the few places where we'll shoot a scene of me shoving food in my face, end the scene, and then we'll all go and eat. Stand there in the street eating, sort of some grandmother, making tacos or tortillas. It's, it's just a great drinking culture, great eating culture. The music is amazing. There's this really, particularly because, well, like Detroit, they're a culture that have been just so relentlessly fucked over the years. That they've had to develop a really brilliant sense of humor and melodrama, and it's just a place that I really, really, really love.
Yeah, I went to Cancun a couple of years ago, and I did okay with the water. And the night before, I shot 2 pilots for MTV. Neither took off, and I had to shoot the next morning, and I drank a cappuccino the night before, not realizing that was made with local water. So I'm surrounded by teenagers in 110-degree heat with lights on a beach, and I had to keep running and shitting.
Oh,
it
no.
was horrendous. Horrendous.
You were percolating?
Yeah, it was
you sort of
gurgling.
have to plan around the shitting like a mink, you know?
Yeah.
Why don't the locals shit
They
like
do.
that? They do.
Well, I mean, it's horrifying that I know this, but actually
love
they
what you
crap
know.
a lot more frequently.
They do.
And have lower
Really?
incidence of rectal cancer. I don't know why I know that, but
Is that because of that, you think?
apparently there's a connection between frequent shitting. Also, squat cultures, lower incidence of rectal cancer,
Well,
where you squat rather than, ride the bowl.
Well, when I shit, this had to come up at one point. I have a thing that I prop my feet up on because it's supposed to be my knees are actually raised when I shit. I sit and my knee.
You have a mirror in front of them?
Exactly. And a video camera. It's my new website.
He's got a little stool for his feet there, Anthony.
I do. I prop my feet up. I got it from a health place.
Amazing.
And so my feet are always kind of propped up in the squat thing, which is better for you. It's better for your system.
Well, look, if anyone would like to, I don't generally do product endorsements or anything like that, but I would really like a Japanese toilet. One of those deluxe Japanese toilets with the alternating spray that moves back and forth at various temperatures. It ionizes the air, makes covering sounds of tropical rainforest to cover the sound of your groaning and spraying. Cleans itself. Just the gentle, warm pulsing of water. Back and forth over your
Heated,
taint
air-conditioned
perineal region. Everyone on my show are upset. It's like we all look forward to Japan, and everybody shows up on set late. They're all like, they'll come out with this blissed out look, like, oh, sorry, man. I was like, having the best hump ever.
Again, that Japanese culture. There's something about the nether regions that they just really are very attentive to.
Yeah. They're very focused on their holes.
Are they ever?
Yeah.
That is
also,
amazing
it's
thing.
not just the tight focus is a sort of a signature of Japanese fetish. They have those clubs where you go with with a what do you call it, a magnifying glass. You sit there, you see these like salary dudes sitting there with a magnifying glass.
No way.
That's like a robot
creepy.
strip club. Not really a strip club, it's sort of like robot cabaret, which was like the most insane. It's on the show. It's
really?
Basically a big, sort of sexy cabaret with battling robots and dinosaurs and like pandas. It's breakdancing robots.
They're on the mollies.
It's the best thing ever.
They got to be on the mollies over there.
It's the best.
Where does that come from?
So strange.
Have you figured it out yet?
No, but I really
Because they're not really doing anything different than other people as far as drinking and drugging.
Well, they don't really have a lot of drugs there. There's some culture.
But when you hear these stories,
Drinking,
you would think there would be a lot of drugs involved.
They're super savage drinkers. They're terrible.
Really?
They're like the worst drinkers in the world. I mean, they're done by like 7:30, and you got in like Shibuya district in Tokyo, and it's like all these young guys already on their hands and knees, puking into the gutter while their hot, completely sober girlfriends are like, holding their hair back. And they just put up with this nonsense. They're terrible, terrible, terrible binge drinkers. They make the Brits look like good.
And it's all sake, or what else?
Beer,
a lot of beer, whiskey.
There's a big wine culture as well. They're just people really do like to. They don't get a lot of opportunity to behave irresponsibly. When they get that window of opportunity, they really
gotcha.
Drink all night and then go right to work the next day is not an unusual thing. And it's also the bonding thing. The boss, everybody will sit around at work. Salarymen will sit around at work waiting for the boss to go home. You don't want to go home before the boss. And the boss is not going home because his boss hasn't gone home yet. They just sit around, jack it off, looking out the window till midnight. And then it's like, oh, well, let's go out. Company spirit. They get completely hammered. You're spending thousands of dollars on cocktails, too, because along with it, you go to like these hostess bars where basically you're spending thousands of dollars for someone to say, oh, your life is really interesting. What do you do? I work for a widget company. Oh, that's so fascinating. You are the most interesting producer of widgets I've ever met, and what a fascinating business, and you're so funny and delightful, and let's play, you don't get even laid for this money. You're just, that's very much the culture. So you takes your pleasure where you can.
Wow.
And it's crowded culture. You live with your parents till you're often. You're living with your parents till you're 30.
You know how much room there?
You could be talking to me. That's when I moved out when I was 30. How humiliating.
I moved back in at 29 myself for a little while.
You were out for a while.
Yeah, I was out 18 to 29.
Northern son.
Need a little help in between radio jobs. Magnifying glasses.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
That's
You've heard.
I thought I've heard it all, but not that one.
The dirty underwear vending machine.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
But a magnifying glass.
Frottage is big.
What's that?
Groping.
Frottage, yeah.
Groping and
On the subways and stuff.
I always thought that was called frottage. Frottage. I did that in high school.
Frottage,
In high school, I called it grazing, where I would try to I would literally, in my mind, go back and just jerk off, remembering what I did, and I would get like a double cheeks with the crack. I did it to a fucking gym teacher once in the pool, where I was walking by, and she was standing there in a fucking bikini, and her ass was amazing, and I'm like, I have to do it. And I allowed my hand to graze over both of her cheeks, and I felt her turn around.
Oh, she knew what you were up to.
It was just me and her. I was outside the pool.
There's plenty of room in the pool.
Dude, no, we were walking by. She was standing outside the pool.
Oh, okay.
And I allowed it, and I knew if I turned around.
Predator.
I knew if I turned around. I knew if I turned around, I was dead. If I acknowledged her, I was dead. But she stared at me, and the fact that I just kept walking gave me the ounce of plausible deniability.
Right.
And then there was a substitute gym teacher whose ass I grabbed one time in a crowd.
What's the statute of limitation on sexual assault? By the way, just if you're listening.
I just grabbed it in a crowded hallway where I just grabbed her ass.
Well, that's some shameful, sick.
That is like twisted.
No, that's not that bad.
Right
That's
there.
just normal. I wasn't getting laid. I was like, 15. I just would jerk off thinking about asses.
Going out, rubbing your hand
on strangers,
and then
heinies.
beating off to it to the thought of it later.
They actually have clubs
twisted.
for that in Tokyo.
In Japan.
It's a reproduction of a subway train, and you go in and people pretending to be other passengers are there to be willingly. They pretend that they don't know what's going on, and you can go in and sort of rub up against them.
But if you're going in knowing everyone's pretending, is it
it's
still
no fun?
You're still getting off a little bit, if that's your thing?
Yeah, we didn't fully investigate this subject. But we got into Shibaru, I think it's called. It's a Japanese rope bondage, which is very big. Hentai, which is interesting. And what's called otaku culture, which is basically nerd or geek culture. People who spend pretty much their whole lives living, expressing themselves through anime characters or what are called Vocaloids, who are sort of holographic characters who actually give concerts and sing. You can go see them. So you could theoretically have a virtual girlfriend, a hologram girl, like an Archer, a hologram girlfriend.
That is so.
They're extremely creative.
They have whole districts of toys and fantasy characters and
right.
I don't know. It's got to come from such a powerful traditional culture that was just decimated during a war.
Now let's all pretend we're an octopus with 8 vaginas and a hat.
It's really weird though. Like I was thinking, we interviewed the guy who basically invented tentacle porn, and he gave me this really fantastic T-shirt. And I was thinking of bringing it in for you guys, and then I thought they can't put that anywhere in America. You can't put that up on a wall. You'll get sued. It's too horrendous. Over there, I'm interviewing this guy about the history of tentacle porn and his work, and we're at a very sort of traditional Japanese restaurant. Like a shabu-shabu place with a little burner in the center of the table. We're having beers and eating, and the proprietors are these older Japanese women in them, 70, 80, very conservative dress. And here this guy has his work spread out across the table, and it's just mind-blowingly insane. And not a blink. That's very interesting. That's very good work. Oh, please tell me more about your, what's the octopus doing there, and what's his name, and not a blink. Just totally very. So in a lot of ways, they're a lot less fucked up about sex than we are.
Are we going to learn where that came from if we watch the show?
Where tentacle porn came from? Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I am curious because I find it to be very silly, like all that stuff, like anything that's sexual, like when they have, I hate anime.
Some of that anime stuff's not bad.
I just don't like the, with the teardrops shooting off and with their giant eyes. Cock, really? And there's 6 cocks and they have hooks in them and fucking, what are you doing? Just wish your dick was bigger like the rest of us. You don't have to fucking paint it like that obscenely. I don't get it.
Okay.
They can't show dicks in Japanese porn.
Yeah,
or pubic hair, right?
Right. See? But tentacles they could show.
That makes you know what? Anthony just made sense. That's exactly.
We're getting to the answer already.
But just show the dicks then and the friggin' pubes. What's the biggie about that?
Different standards and practices.
Can't show pubes. It's so silly.
An octopus.
Or an alien with a tentacle-like protuberance would be acceptable.
That's their way of saying mother effer on the regular radio. They're kind of getting it past the censors by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, that makes a little bit of sense. So that the repressed culture does kind of cause that because at
least you know where it came from.
Yeah, that makes less.
That makes a lot more sense.
It's not as crazy as I thought.
No, of course not.
But I don't like that stuff.
It's so odd.
You're loving CNN?
I'm loving it. They've been so good to me. I mean, they've never blinked as far as content, as far as where I'm going, and we've asked to go to some pretty upsetting places that no other network in their right mind would have sent us. Congo, the DRC. They didn't blink. They were like, "Oh yeah, we know people there. We can help you."
That's it too. That's a great organization to be with because they have those contacts and
fixers.
They have they have the ability to use credentials and whatnot to get into some of these places.
A good fixer will save your life frequently in a place like Congo, and a bad one will really get you in the shit.
Really.
Just the local contracts. As far as content, what I say, how I say it, how the show's going to look, not a blink. They've been totally appreciative and supportive of everything I've done.
That's great.
They've been great. I mean, I haven't had a single stupid conversation with an executive at
oh my god
at CNN. It's an extraordinary.
What's that like, sir?
Wow,
smart
people. We've only had stupid conversations with executives here.
smart people who've not only supported me, but also in every instance since the first conversation before I even sign up with them, if someone at CNN said to me, "This is going to happen, and this is what we're going to do if you do that." It happens like that.
Oh, my God.
Okay. I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
This is amazing.
Yeah. That's a
Never heard of
strange
this.
place, huh?
Yeah, it's an odd, magical place.
Magical, it really is.
The music, the storytelling style, the language, the content, it's a big change for them. And it took a lot of balls from them to sort of stand up and stand by me, and they've been really, really great.
Did you hear the story about the woman, too, speaking of fixers, who went to a Canadian girl, and she just was one of these idealistic girls who thinks, the world is good, and she wanted to be a journalist. And so she went to Somalia, and of course her and her idealistic friend are fucking kidnapped by Islamic jihadists, and they're held for, she had a baby. It's just a nightmare. How far outside of the checkpoint were they when they got taken? I mean, it might have been 50 or 100 feet they'd gone.
Oh, man.
Past the checkpoint. It was like literally, because their fixers wouldn't go. And they're like, okay, we'll just drive. And then they were surrounded by, the certain
immediately wouldn't go.
Yeah, the fixer said you have to go on your own.
That was the, look.
Yeah, that's a
big mistake. If your fixer says that, I'm not doing that. That's they know. It's the same as like when we first arrived in Vietnam years ago. Me and my now partners at 0.0 were in the car. We're headed off to the hotel, and our fixer driver is just rambling on. Oh, welcome to Nha Trang. Oh, this restaurant over here is fantastic. Great seafood. That place over there, very good pork. Very good pork. You should eat there. It's superb. Next place he passes, that place very good. And, my friend says, how's the food at my hotel where we're going? He says, it's okay. That's like flashing warning sign, which my guy just drove right through, basically. So, he had some crab soup there the next day at the hotel. And, I've never seen anyone so sick. I mean, he was like projectile vomiting for like 3 days, turned blue, lost like 30 pounds. I mean, lost his ability he was sick for like 6 months. He was really, really messed up.
What was it that he had? Did he get, what exactly did he get for it?
Some kind of crab-related, parasitical, something bad. But look, when your fixer says, I'm not so sure, that's...
He knows.
Diplomatic.
Stop it. Right. No, don't eat there.
What do you know about Syria? Have you ever been?
Haven't been. Would like to go. It's a really messed up situation and far more complex than anybody's really talking about. I like the idea of doing something as supremely. If we bomb Syria, right, it's completely against our national interest to do that. It was really not in our national interest to help out in Libya either. That said, I'm really glad we helped out in Libya. That was a cool thing for us to do. Wow, we're actually helping people who deserve to be helped. We're actually do something for freedom, not for oil or whatever. I think it's a mess. I don't know that it's going to make anything better, but I kind of like that we're at least talking about it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. What is clear for sure is Assad and his dad were two of the most reprehensible figures in the Middle East. I would love to see them go. I'm all for change. Like, I don't know whether the government, I doubt very much that the government in Egypt is better for America than what we had before, or that what the government that they get in Libya is going to be friendlier to America than the one before, or Syria for that matter. But the fact that at least change is possible is something that was completely unthinkable not before the Arab Spring. Everybody in the Middle East thought, we're stuck with these assholes forever. This is the way it's always going to be. So blood and chaos for a while, I don't know. I mean, I was very opposed to the Iraq War. That was a disaster. Clearly, that didn't work out. Afghanistan hasn't worked out. I'm not saying any of this will work out. But I sure as hell wouldn't be unhappy to see Assad go.
Doesn't it just suck when we help people and then they wind up hating our guts anyway? That's the frustrating part, is that there's not an ounce of gratitude. Fucking 5 years later, we're the enemy, and we were shit all along. That's my only objection
but
to
that's
it.
always the way. I mean, do you think the French particularly love, do they love us? Or,
no, but they don't bomb our airlines. I mean,
well, what I like about Anthony Bourdain and your shows, like, you really get to, learn about the people. The episode you did in Libya, you're like, holy fuck, these people are pretty much like us. Well, just want to live and have a good time.
There are good people over there like any place else. There's also a lot of bad people who would like to do us harm. There are a lot of good people who, for various reasons, don't like us at all and would in no way be inclined to vote for anything that's good for us.
Yeah.
But the people, they love their kids. They want a better lives for themselves. They like to watch MTV. They like to own
They like good food. They like getting fucked up.
They're not going to be calling us and saying thank you anytime soon. That's for sure. It's a very complex situation. You've got, these militia groups who are made up of what, people are, for lack of any smarter way to describe them, moderates, or, what we would call reasonable, or, don't actively hate us, a bunch of Al-Qaeda dudes, up against a repressive government that are using, chemical weapons on their own people, who are also, and Hezbollah. So basically you've got like Al-Qaeda associated people up against Hezbollah. Pick a team there.
Hezbollah. They don't attack us. Hezbollah is shitty, but Israel fucking hates it.
Killed over 300 U.S. Marines back in Beirut back in the day. Tortured to death the CIA station chief.
I'm talking about, you're correct, but I mean, like, here, they're not the threat to me in America. Hezbollah, I worry about Al-Qaeda more. Between those two groups, I worry about Al-Qaeda more.
Again, it's a tough thing. And of course,
toss a coin.
I've met you. There's no doubt in my mind. We could all be having dinner with some Hezbollah folks and have a perfectly great time. They would say some things that would be alarming to us while feeding us and being, we had to deal with them in Beirut, Hey, American, how are you? What you doing in my neighborhood?
Oh, really?
Roll up in the Mercedes, gold watch.
I can't wait for them.
They're not stupid people. They're very sophisticated.
Yeah.
How'd you talk to them? What'd you tell them you were doing?
Well, we were shooting in their neighborhood, so within seconds of arriving, the Hezbollah showed up and said, "What are you doing in our neighborhood?" And we're making a travel and food show, and so we just shot in order to get into Gaza for this latest show. Hamas had to give us permission, so it's something.
You're crazy.
Wait, how did you get the permission? That's amazing. When you said we're shooting a food show, how did Hezbollah respond?
Well, a travel and food show. At one point, we had everything set. A lot of what is allowed to go into Gaza is extremely restricted. Food, building materials, books, basic stuff. They're basically on they're being rationed and restrained. They can't fish more than 3 miles off their coast. Getting over the Israeli border, that ain't really happening. However, for a while, you could, if you wanted Kentucky Fried Chicken in Gaza City, you could order out, and people would run through these tunnels they use to smuggle arms and other contraband into Egypt, get you your Kentucky Fried Chicken, and bring it back through the tunnels. So we had this whole scene set up with Hamas where we were going to go down with cameras. They were going to let us go down into the tunnels and follow our delivery guy over to Egypt to grab us our bucket of chicken and come back in. And we spent a lot of time sitting out there by the tunnels, and in the end, it was, they got paranoid about I don't know what happened. We didn't.
Oh, shit.
But what's particularly in the Arab world, I think what I find again and again and again are people who have no particular reason to love or like me, who would on any other day of the week have no problem killing me, in fact, if situations change. If you wash up at their house and you're hungry, almost across the board, you will be treated with hospitality. And by hospitality, I mean your host will sit right next to you, patting you on the knee, making sure you're happy, checking on you throughout the meal, ripping off the best parts of the lamb, making sure you're eating well. Again and again and again, when we're shooting those scenes, our host will be absolutely miserable that the camera people aren't eating. They're just tortured. They're talking to me, doing the scene, and say, "Look, you're shaming me. Is there something? Can't I feed these?" I'll turn right towards the camera, blowing the scene, and say, "Can't I feed you? Can't I give these guys some food? It's disgracing me. I mean, I'm a bad host. And, please enjoy, have some fun. I can't wait, by the way, till I can bathe in the blood of my enemies."
There you go. That's the guy.
It's one of those maddening incongruities of travel when people who, on any other day would or in different circumstances would happily do bad things to you and yours are lovely to you in person.
I guess it helps that's a great perspective to have, though, because I've never traveled and seen people as individuals like that. It's like, you see what you see, but I guess it's a lot different when you're sitting there with somebody and, regardless of what else they do, they are people and they do know how to host a party or they do know how to have a guest over, and it's like, I guess it's harder to just lump them in when
you're not going to end up, hugging it out and singing Kumbaya and figuring out, hey, thanks to the lamb, I guess world peace is possible. It ain't that simple.
Yeah.
But you do see glimpses of, I don't know, something, that we're not all these, faceless statistics.
It's one of the best parts unknown. I'm a huge fan of the show. I can't wait for the next season. And it's right around the corner. And then the Getaway, of course.
Hezbollah let you in when you said what you were there for. That's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
As for Hezbollah,
they're really they have a gift shop. Okay, they're very, very, very slick about their public image, about a lot of things. They're not stupid. They're arguably evil. And they're arguably terrorists, but they're not stupid people, and they will take advantage. And this is something I guess we're going to have to think about in Syria and everything we do. So that, when the Israelis bombed, when I was in Lebanon in 2006, when the Israelis would bomb what were referred to as Hezbollah neighborhoods or Shia neighborhoods where Hezbollah were influential and prevalent and present, Hezbollah with Iranian money would show up the next day and go from house to house. "Oh, you lost your house. Dude, that's really terrible. Here's $13,000 to rebuild your home. Wow. And by the way, if we can look after your kids, please stop by our Hezbollah daycare center. And, our neighborhood watch will be looking." So they step in very shrewdly to these vacuums created by whatever world events. Whether or not it was a good idea to bomb the neighborhood in the first place, let other smarter people argue over that. What I'm saying is they're really shrewd about winning hearts and minds by taking advantage of whatever happens.
Like Hamas did that, right? Isn't that how they kind of got in power? They built schools and did all this stuff, and people just liked them.
Well, also anybody who stands up against a perceived enemy in whatever way is going to get some kind of, he may be a bastard, but he's our bastard. That kind of a thing. It's the Middle East and Israel, West Bank, Gaza, I went in stupid and I came out stupid. I'm not coming out of there like a freaking Middle East expert by a mile, I wish I could say I came out of there any smarter, but But you see a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and
you
in a lot of ways
obviously
you
learn
get more.
something.
You get more data. You get more confused. You have more stuff to think about. But the show's not about what I think. It's really show you what I saw, and you make up your own mind.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting, man.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Really, really
I'm
interesting
in.
perspective.
Another great appearance from Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
And I
you,
understand,
sir.
by the way, the horrible people, like for instance, the Opie and Anthony show, are hated by a lot of radio shows. Like, you guys are seen as fucking monsters.
Yes.
And you're just my friends.
I know, isn't that odd?
But it's really weird to go to places and hear the perspective. Now, this may not be the example of Hezbollah.
It's pretty close.
And then,
No, it's
in
worse.
spite of whatever says, here you are sharing your cronuts.
Your cronuts. The stupid cronut. Did you try one?
Yes.
Are they that amazing? Come on.
They're pretty amazing, but the DKA, the other pastry there is actually, in my opinion, better, and you can get as many of those as you want.
No problem.
That's a great pastry shop, and the cronut is awesome.
Do you hate
Would I
that
wait
guy, though, for the way he fucking hold on to the cronuts? I have a hatred for him.
I like that you can't jump the line. I think it's pretty cool. What was her name? Emily Roberts tried to jump the line
right.
at the, we said, no, back of the line. I like that.
Who's she?
Yeah, got me. I don't know, somebody famous.
Oh, okay.
Someone famous.
I guess, yeah.
But she was trying to, get
But
in
they're
front
waiting
of everybody
online
for their cronuts.
starting at, what, 5, 6 in the morning? That's dumb.
Look, I don't blame him. It's not his
I
fault.
know.
I mean, it's, if somebody wants to wait 4 hours in the roaring sun for 2, you're only allowed 2. Or trade sex, offer to trade sex for a cronut online, which people are doing.
Oh, my God.
People are bidding like $500 on Craigslist for cronuts.
Come on.
Look, that's a dysfunction, in
Yeah.
the consumer. The guy's, he's a very nice guy making a very good product. He can only do 500 of them a day it's a small pastry shop. He can only reasonably produce a certain amount. He's not forcing you to act completely silly.
Very true. Imagine that, though. You order sex, and a girl comes over and blows you, and then you're like, oh, I thought you said donuts. Oh, my fault.
My bad.
I thought it was a typo.
Hit the bricks.
It's good shop, though. Go for
Yeah.
I think it's called the DKA, though, that's the...
We've tried. We're not on his radar. We've tried to get the cronuts. We got to wait like everyone else.
Yeah, but everybody, I mean, Al Roker's hanging around out front. He's
man,
going to
better.
the dumpster, He's like...
Yeah.
All right,
Is
Anthony.
he allowed to eat cronuts, by the way, do you think?
Al Roker?
Probably
So
not.
stomach steak.
I'm sure he's doing
Is he
a little
eating
cheating.
cronuts?
I think he did one of those.
I'm sure he's
pieces
cheating
where he was
here
eating
and there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's getting a cronut in him every once in a while.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right,
Thank
so
you,
it's
guys.
the
Thank
Getaway.
you.
Take a trip around the globe with all these famous people. That's on the Esquire Network, right?
Yes.
And that starts Wednesday, September 25th at 9. And then, of course, Parts Unknown Season 2. That would be Season 2.
Yes.
Season 2, okay.
Wait a minute. Parts Unknown.
Or is it 3?
Season 3.
It's 3, right?
They're calling
Okay.
it Season 3.
Yeah, Season 3 starts September 15th at 9 p.m. on
And
CNN.
Mind of a Chef, I don't know exactly when it starts airing, but it's coming real soon, and it's real good.
Just follow Bourdain on Twitter to see what he's up to.
Thank you guys.
Anthony.
Always fun.
All right.
Robin, 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 Robin,